with another makeup tutorial. I was supposed to be posting a vlog, but the topics I'll be talking about in my next vlog are a bit sensitive, so I'm just taking my time in making that video. So for today you're just gonna have to deal with some pink makeup and cutie space buns, because I really like space buns at the moment. I hope your lockdown and quarantine has been treating you well. I know this is a difficult time for all of us. I myself am in lockdown at the moment and I've been alone for 2 weeks. It's a lot of fun. If you would like to see how I did this look, you can just keep on watching.
So I'll be starting with eyebrows. I'm going to use my Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Pomade and just a flat angled brush to fill in my brows and the areas where my brow is slightly more sparse, specifically focusing on the end of the brow. Moving over to concealer or an eyeshadow primer, I'm just using a flat concealer brush to carve out the bottom of my brow to make it nice and sleek, because I'm not going for that rough look. I'm more of going for a sleek brow that's like nice and clean at the bottom. So just carving out the brow, and then I'll be going in with my foundation brush and just blending it out onto my nose on the side of my face. Then setting the concealer or eyeshadow primer, I'm just going to use a slightly translucent powder to set it with. Moving on to eyeshadow, I'm going to be using the Rock Down Under palette from Gosh Cosmetics. Starting with the pink, this look is pink, so I'm going to start building on the pink with a lighter pink. I'm using a brush from Frisk Beauty, it's just like a little domed fluffy brush, working on the outside of the eye and into the crease. Adding a second color, this is more of a plum to create some depth, and I'm trying to focus this look on being more of a round shape, so I'm trying not to blend it out too far to the sides of the eye. Then going in with my pink shade from the Juvia's Palace palette. This is the Zulu palette. You can use any pink eyeshadow. I try to keep with powders. Usually I use creams that are slightly more pigmented, but I decided to stick with only powders. And then make sure you blend that out well, and the darker I usually make the color, the smaller I try and keep the area. Then going in with my brush that I had the concealer on, I'm just making the inner corner of the eye lighter so that my shimmers and my glitters will show up more pigmented. I am going to be using a glitter or the liquid eyeshadow from MAC Cosmetics called Everyday Sunshine, as well as my Pixie Beauty glitter. I will be mixing the two together. So the MAC product is more of a pink beige undertone compared to the Pixie Beauty one that has a tint of gold and green, so it makes for a very interesting combination. I just used a concealer brush which is flat to pack on the product, and you have to move fast because this product does dry, and as soon as it starts drying, it's going to start flaking if you try and blend it with a flat brush. I kept the inner corner, the inner half of the eye quite pigmented, and then I just used a fluffy brush to blend it out. Just using some Cover Effects liquid highlighter on my face. I have no idea why I did this. Just to give the skin like a nice rosy glow. This is not something I usually do. I just felt like trying something new. This is a really pigmented product, that's why it's making my face look slightly darker than it is. Going in with my Cover Effects and Peri Pera foundation. The one is too orange and the one is too light, so I decided to mix the two just to give get the right shade. Both of these products do dry matte, so I didn't worry too much about setting. And then just a whole lot of blending. Going in with my concealer on areas where I would like it to be lighter, like my upper lip, my chin, and specifically under my eyes for those dark circles. Then just using my foundation brush to pat the product into my skin. I'm going to go in with my cream contour from Fenty. This one's in the shade Amber. And I'm just carving out my contour, which will be the side of my nose, on my cheekbone, underneath my chin. Create a bit of a jawline, and on my forehead. Look quite double kenny yellow. Oh, it's always the weirdest contour. And then I'm just using a duo fiber brush from MAC to blend out this cream. I'm trying to keep the color in that specific area. That's why I'm using such a small brush. Then going in with my favorite eyeshadow, which I use for contour. This one's from MAC. It's called Swiss Chocolate. I feel like this is the perfect color for a contour. It's nice and rich, but it's not too warm, so you can still do bronzer over it. So I'm just going on the sides of my nose. And then you want to focus your contour on the cheekbone itself, so that when the color is applied, it doesn't go too low, because if you apply the product in your cheekbone hollow, it's going to end up looking like you did your contour on your jawline. So the higher up you do it, the better. You can always blend it away. Remember to do the jawline as well. It's going to help just buff the product out. And then your bronzer. This is Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. I think it's in the shade Bronze. It's the darkest one they have. This is my favorite bronzer. Sometimes I don't use contour and I just tend to go with a bronzer still. It just warms up the face and it still gives your face nice structure. And I always do my neck as well, because my neck is a lot lighter than my chest and my face area. This is just an all around nice product to have. And then I'm going to do some baking. Yes, I am using baby powder on a fluffy brush, just to carve out the cheekbone and just to make the under eye area slightly lighter. They do call this baking. Just applying some blush. I'm using the same pink that I used on my eyes. And then just completing the eyeshadow look with applying a nice bright pink under the eye. It's the same color I used last. Then going in with Velvet Virginia from Maria Cosmetics. One of my favorite pink lipsticks. It's super creamy, lasts long as well. And then just using a big fluffy brush to blend out the white powder. Going in with my black track from MAC and my MAC brush in 210. This is 210. It's the number of the brush. This is my favorite brush for doing liner with. Just doing a nice line on the eye before I start winging it out. I got this trick that I saw someone use. You just measure on the side of your nose and your eye to help you get the right angle for your liner. And I find that it helps quite a lot for my wing. I also only do the wing part from half of the line, so that it gives you a nice thin line to like flick it out. So I'm going to put some duo glue on the side so I can start getting tacky while I do my mascara. This is my Rebel Eyes mascara from Gosh Cosmetics. I do the bottom lash line as well to emphasize a bit and make it dramatic. This is a set of cheap lashes I bought, and I maneuvered and cut a different piece up and built my own lash. So this lash is specifically built so that it makes it look like I've got a bit of a wing going on. Yeah, and that's about it. Oh, and I made some false freckles. They look really bad, but I haven't blended them yet. Just going in with some highlighter. I'm using a pink highlighter, gold on the nose and pink on the cheeks, so it makes my cheeks look even more rosy and glowy. Then I also went back in with my little duo fiber brush and I just blended out all the freckles so that they looked slightly more natural.
And that is it for today's look. The lashes I'm currently wearing are a set that I built myself, so if you would like to see a video on how I make my lashes or customize them, just let me know in the comments and I will try and dedicate the video specifically to building fun and funky lashes. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and also remember to subscribe to my channel. That would mean the absolute world to me. I will see you guys on the next video. Remember, you are loved. God bless you, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.